A very big welcome to our second event for Race Quality Week 2024 and the second big collaboration event. I know that there's many events going on around the country. I took part in one this morning with a group of HR directors. I hope we're a bit more interactive than they were. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Raj Tulsiani, CEO of Green Park and Chair of Race Quality Matters, which I founded with Javid Thomas of the Collaboratory. Thank you for joining us at this much requested event, the Race Quality Week. It's good to have so much interest and support and friendly faces here today. We're expecting over 200 pre-booked organisations from 150 cities and towns, including Guildford, but also Liverpool to Los Angeles, Manchester to Munich, Leith to Nairobi, Woking to Warsaw. It clearly shows the reach and appetite to collaborate and be the catalyst for change. As you'll all be used to by now, before we start, a little bit of housekeeping. As you know, we're looking to make our events more accessible. Hence, when registering, we're asking for you to give us any accessibility arrangements that you need so we can try and offer support. We'll try our best to meet your needs. Closed captioning is also enabled in the main session. We've also have recommended a solution for the virtual breakout rooms. You'll find the link in the chat and we'll share it again later. The event is being recorded, except for the breakout sessions, and will be made available for you to access along with the slides later on in the month. Your sound will also be auto-disabled, so please share ideas and questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to respond to these. The chat generally gets pretty busy after a breakout session, so heads up in advance. If you need to switch off sound because utilising accessibility tools are an issue for you, there could be a lot of pings. And please do tweet and post social media content during and after the event, so we can continue to create a big Race Equality Week buzz. Our handles are on the right. The key one is Race Equality Week 2024 or hashtag REW 2024. It's really important to the team, Javid and myself, that we get to over 4 million users and 5,000 companies this year. So next slide, please. Many of you, we can see by the registrations, are new to Race Quality Matters. So here's a quick reminder of what we do and how we can help. We exist to meet needs and fill gaps to tackle race inequality by providing free solutions, resources and tools to help change makers like you in organisations in the UK and beyond. We believe in intersectional improvement and inclusion as the fastest way of closing the UK productivity gap, and we do that through the prism of race. Not at the exclusion of anything else, but also not using proxies like social mobility instead of actually dealing with long-standing issues around race. Our solutions include how to do it right implementation guides and workshops. We also run a series of free virtual events throughout the year, including support for 1,500 race network chairs. Everything we create is built in collaboration with those with real lived experience of race equality. So a huge thanks to you all, particularly those people who were with us right in the beginning, when even thinking about doing 5 million people in a week would have been ludicrous, but that's what we're expecting to do this week. So thank you from the whole team, because crucially, it's your insight that makes our solutions possible to make a significant impact. As you can see on screen, we are about not amplifying aspirations of corporates or leaders who may have the will but not the skill to do something. We're about actually making differences and helping organisations to learn how to make those differences in their own unique culture and environment. All of this wouldn't be possible without the support of our valued and fantastic partners. Partners who, alongside my firm, Green Park, are funding Race Equality Matters. Huge thanks to Lloyds of London as our key partner, who are sharing the load powering Race Equality Week with Green Park, but also a thank you to Javid from the Collaboratory and our lifetime visionary partner, British Telecom. Our other partners include Auto Trader, HS2, Eagleman, Amy and Network Rail. Their support means we can run Race Equality Week and you can access many resources for free. But we are a not-for-profit, although we create over £1 million social value every year, we're keen to keep going, and indeed we need further funding. So if your organisation would like to get involved with funding, sponsorship, marketing opportunities, or anything else, please do get in touch with the team. Next slide, please. Due to popular demand, we'll be launching a corporate membership programme very shortly. Membership will provide additional support through exclusive access to a new membership hub. And as a paid member, you will have access to member logos, exclusive events and networking, insights, ideas and other resources, invites to co-create or co-brand new solutions, and free credits to the Race Equality Matters job board. Please join the waitlist if your organisation would like to join or discuss corporate membership. The link is in the chat. It's really cheap. It's the cheapest thing out there. It's like less than £500, if you can believe that. We're about inclusion and we're about getting more people on this journey. Alternatively, you can support us personally with a donation. Here's a link to a QR code. There's no amount that's too little. Built on last year's successful big collaboration, today's session is hopefully going to be even more engaging and equally interactive. So to get the most out of it, we're going to keep it moving at pace. Firstly, we've got State of the Nation polls, so you know who's in the room, what context we're operating in. Then we've got some expert speakers that we're very grateful that they made time to come and join us. There's 3 collaborative discussions on 3 key themes. We'll introduce our newest solution to tackle racial microaggressions and incivilities, and we will do our very best to be respectful of your time and finish bang on 1:45. And as a bonus, by contributing, you will in the next few days receive 50 plus ideas and insights that we collect from today's event and the week in total. So your time here is not just a short-term investment, but it's also something that we are grateful for. So to get started, let's get into the poll.
So it's great that nearly 250 have completed the poll. First question, so 57% identify or are allies and 43% identify as ethnically diverse or appropriate equivalent. So a reverse of yesterday's event. So nearly 60% are allies today, which is really interesting. Good to have you here, especially because we're going to be talking about getting allies to become active allies or how to go about it. Question 2, so where do you sit in your organisation? What's your role? So 22%, so 1 in 5 of you are senior leaders, 22% D&I, 17% HR, 13% race network members, and 14%, so 1 in 7 of you here are race network leads, and you know a fair percentage, 38%, other roles or positions. Question 3, has your organisation implemented any of the following Race Equality Matters solutions? So 55% the 5-day challenge, 23% my name is, and then 11% big promise, 10% say space plus, and 11% T-break. So 1 in 10 of you have done that, and it looks like about 70% of you have implemented something. Thank you very much for that. Question 4, how is your organisation addressing race inequality? So focus on action, not just words, is 40%. So we typically get between 40 and 45. So focus on action, not just words. That's where we need to get everyone. 45% said talks and does a little bit of action. And then 4% just talks and 5% does very little. Question 5. Do you feel the majority of allies are active in your organisation? So quite a mix here. So 26%, so 1 in 4 of you feel you're majority are, which is great to hear, but 39% are saying no, you don't, and then 35% say not sure. So it's only 26% saying yeah, that you feel your allies are active in your organisation. And in your organisation, of those who are not ethnically diverse, approximately what percentage do you feel are tackling race inequality? And as you can see here, 57% are saying less than 25% are making a difference, and then only 7% are saying 3/4 are tackling race inequality. So So do you feel your senior leaders and managers are making an impact in tackling race inequality? 31% saying yes, so that's 1 in 3 of you. And then 55% saying a little bit, but not enough. And we have to move that group into the yes category. And then 8% saying no, and 6% saying not sure. Question 8. How often do you believe microaggressions occur in your organization? So happens daily and happens a lot is 16%, happens quite often 21%, happens occasionally 27%. But if we take out the percentage that I'm not sure or can't answer as they're not sure they are, it is as high as 87%. So it's happening in your, to your organization to 87% of people. Question 9. To have the greatest effect to put an end to microaggressions, who should be calling them out? 13% saying the person experienced it, 3% saying colleagues with the same characteristics, but 69% and nearly 70% saying allies not directly affected. And that's why we've got a solution. It's on micro, which is really helping allies become active allies. So thank you all for taking part in the poll, and on to the next bit. Great, thank you very much. And with everyone, we will share the poll results with you later after the event so you can see on that. So big welcome to Race Equality Week 2024. The theme is Listen, Act, Change. And today's collaboration is focused on that. And it is backed by popular demand. Last year, next slide, 93% would recommend a big collaboration. So we've got something to live up to. Next slide, 86% of those with authority said they would implement something they learned. So we've got some excellent speakers here, and the breakout sessions, we hope you take away, actually, there's something new we can do. Yeah, that's what we try to do, create newness and energy to create change. Next slide. During today's events, we'll create the opportunity for you to collaborate, share and learn on some of the topics that matter to you the most. You told us what you wanted. For those that have attended our other events before, they typically last 5 to 8 minutes of breakout sessions, but today's are going to be about 15 minutes each. Yes, it's 3 sessions. They're going to last close to 12 to 15 minutes each, so you can get lots out of it. Next slide. The 3 breakout sessions will be focusing on how organizations move from words to action, moving from words to action, the difference between allies and active allies, and then leaders and managers driving change and being accountable and engaged. How do we get our leaders and managers to drive change, be accountable and engaged? And we will set the scene for each session. Next slide, please. So to get the show on the road, I'm delighted to introduce our first fabulous speakers who will briefly set the scene for the first breakout session. How to move from from words to action, not action to words. So a huge welcome to Chelsea Sprong and Jeffrey Crawford, both from Beardsley, who you can see there are bronze trailblazers for race equality matters. The parent company of a global specialist insurance business. Please unmute yourself, Chelsea and Jeffrey. Thank you. Chelsea is Beardsley's head of social impact. She's passionate about using a position to enable real, sustainable and measurable progress in diversity inclusion space, all underpinned by data. Her strength lies in collaborating with business leaders to create bespoke solutions to garner genuine commitment to change. And Jeffrey is Beardsley's cyber platform leader. Beyond the realm of technology, Jeffrey is dedicated to creating a workplace that celebrates individuality and also promotes equality and inclusion. He's also the co-founder of Beardsley's race ERG called REW. So great to have a co-founder here. So thank you, both of you. So as we said, we've got 3 minutes to go through all of this. So the first question is, how did Beardsley move from words to get its people to move from words to action? So Jeffrey, how did you involve your people in the first place?
Yeah, thank you. So we began focusing on ethnicity after hearing from our employees through the engagement survey that we run annually. And with the success of our gender targets, we decided to take a similar approach for ethnicity. So we formed a task force, and that consisted of myself and Robin Arfi. We both co-founded with one of our colleagues in the US, our race ERG network. And then we had some members of the IND steering group, so that's the Inclusion and Diversity Steering Group, and HR. And our objective, which remains unchanged today, is to ensure that our offices reflect the diversity of the markets that we serve. But given that we've got a global operation, we face the challenge of describing ethnicity without causing offence. So then we engaged the wider ERG from all of our global offices to determine the best language for communicating our ethnicity goals.
Brilliant, thank you. So I think what's important, Chelsea, what will determine success?
Yeah, so data is absolutely key. We analyze our representation data quarterly. We do deep dives into joiners, leavers, retention, turnover, promotions, internal moves. We have an inbuilt trigger in our compensation system to ensure that managers aren't awarding unequal remuneration when it comes to ethnicity. Each of our exec members has a bespoke objective. This might be, for example, focusing on the development of Black talent if Black employees are underrepresented in their particular leadership team, or focusing on the recruitment of ethnic minority talent if that's been identified as an area of improvement. Our goals and targets are evolving. As Jeffrey said, they're based on the communities we operate in. We want to ensure we're continually reflecting those communities. And then in April, we'll be announcing whether or not we've met those goals and then what our new goals are going to be based off updated data.
So a lot of transparency and accountability there. So thank you for that. So you hear a lot about education. So how have you supported and educated this drive to change?
So we have taken an approach where each department really need a different approach. Some teams are going to find it harder to become more racially diverse, depending on perhaps the skill set they hire, the diversity of that particular talent pool, where they might be located in the world. So we have bespoke goals and bespoke support in place depending on where each team is. Myself and the learning and development team conduct regular workshops, regular training for managers, leaders, for peers. And then our race network really helps drive awareness and celebrate inclusion. And we actually held our first industry-wide event celebrating Diwali last year, which had great reviews, bringing the industry together. Training has included race fluency training, as Jeffrey said, removing that fear of getting it wrong or causing offence. That was quite important to help move progress. And we've also trained our recruitment partners on what our expectations are. One of the good things that we've done is work with our marketing and internal communications team to make sure they're actually continually highlighting the great ethnically diverse role models that we have in the company.
Brilliant, thank you. And a thing we hear often, you've got Black History Month, Race Equality Week, and then I call it people put it back in the box. So how do you keep momentum going throughout the year, Jeffrey?
Yeah, so I think we're constantly challenging ourselves to improve. We're looking at the data continually, but we do recognise that our front office, that shop front, does lack a bit of diversity there, especially in those higher paying roles. So our focus is on improving representation there. There's a lot of grassroots work that we're doing with a lot of interns, etc. And that's going to help us to aid closing that race pay gap that we're also focused on. So there's more to come from Beazley. I think check out our LinkedIn. There's tons of opportunities there for us to get more people in the door.
Brilliant. And if you go onto the Race Equality Matters website, there's a mini case study, I think, on Beazley and Trailblazers of what they've been doing. Just to let everyone know, this is events we're recording, so we will have a standalone video of the great content Jeffrey and Chelsea shared with us. So you'll all be able to re-listen to it. So that's fantastic. Thank you both. Much appreciated. Okay, so now it's all your turn. We'll go to our first collaborative discussion. And the topic of discussion is how can or do organizations move from words to action? So how can or do organizations move from words to action? For accessibility, if you feel uncomfortable having your cameras on, then we support it. You can have them off when you go into the breakout session. There's also a link in the chat to enable captions. This is all about the big collaboration. So when normally we say, please feel free not to go into the breakout rooms, but we hope, nearly all, if not all of you, will go into the breakout sessions because we all to learn from each other. And we appreciate not everyone may be able to contribute to each topic, but it's good to listen and learn. When you sign to a room, we'll give you, we're allowing about just under 14 minutes, and we'll give you a 1-minute warning that'll come up on screen. When you go into the breakout sessions, it's not recorded, so you're in a safe space. And please, can someone in there be a chair, just to sort of give everyone a chance to speak, and then maybe someone else can keep an eye on the time. I said we'll give a 1-minute warning end. We definitely recommend do not go introducing each other because you'll spend your 15 minutes doing that. And don't forget to take yourself off mute when you go in there. So a reminder, the discussion topic is how can or do organizations move from words to action? So see you on the other side. Thank you. So speakers, you're very welcome to go and join the groups, but don't be expected to chair the group, I suggest. Brilliant, great. Thank you all for that. Hopefully you all got something from that. And each session is going to be slightly different. So you may have some a bit more to contribute in others, and others other than listen. So in our group, lots of great stuff in the sense of all about keeping it front of mind, not just once every now and again. Black History Month, Race Quality Week. It's continued dialogue, and Friday Challenge we think will really help organisations with that. Can I suggest? Can we all just go into the chat and type, if you're comfortable to do that, just your thoughts and ideas in that question? How can we ensure organization and people move from talking about just talking, but no action? So don't worry about typos, don't worry about spelling and everything like that. And what we'll do is we collate all this, we'll anonymize it, and then we'll provide I'm going to use the word, a very pretty document for you all to get in a few days for these topics. So we're hoping to create a document for each of these sessions for you. So we'll give you about 30 seconds to type in the chat, things like that. So come to host, have a copy. Everyone has a part to play, not just CGI. Yeah, I think it needs to be everyone's business. Accurate data and clear objectives, targets, a more proactive approach, having a senior leader, data-driven, a lot of data there, be intentional, available resources, more focus on action, top executives having loads coming through. So we'll give you another 20 seconds on that. So thank you for that. So Raj at the beginning promised you'll get 50 plus insights and ideas at the end of the event. I think we'll get 50 plus just for this one. So if anyone wants to go home early, we can all go home now. Okay. Now please don't go. In case you'll take me literally. Okay, that's fantastic. So before we move on to our next speakers in the second session, I want to share a new solution. If you have the next slide, that will help accelerate tackling inequality with an intersectional focus too. We're collaborating with the Chief Technology Officer behind the Trainline app and have launched How Inclusive and Belonging is Your Organization survey tool. The response rate from organizations that are using it from employees is typically 75% of employees take part and disclose or share. We shared a link in the chat, and for most organizations it's less than £1,000, so it's really affordable, and you can launch it, and we suggest it's live for 10 days, and then 5 past 5 on the 10th day you'll have all your results, lots of intersectional charts and information. So really good. Organizations get fantastic stuff from that, and you can hear more about it later as the year goes on. Next slide please. Now, on to our second topic, the difference between allies, and as Raj mentioned earlier, and active allies, and I think it was Chelsea and Jeffrey touched upon that as well. Next slide. So we'd like to introduce Natalie and Jerome. Pleased to introduce Natalie Quilter and Jerome Rock from Notting Hill Genesis, one of London's largest not-for-profit housing associations. So thank you both for joining us, and please unmute yourselves. Natalie is the HR operational lead at Notting Hill Genesis. She's also race ally, LGBTQ plus ally, mental health first aider, and chair the Carers Network. Natalie was also noted amongst the most inspiring DEI leaders to follow in 2023 by CIO Views magazine. Jerome is a service improvement team leader and co-chair of the staff network for ethnically diverse colleagues. He's been nominated for the Ethnicity in Housing Support Colleague Award, not once, but twice. And so if you unmute it, and we have a spotlight on Natalie and Jerome. So thank you both for being here. So to set the scene for our next breakout, in the next 3 minutes, time starts now, how are you engaging active allies, and what active allies can do to make an impact? So if I could go to you first, Natalie, what is allyship, and what have NHG done to address the need for race allyship?
Yeah, thanks, Javed. So in the creation of our Race at Work action plan, some things that our colleagues expressed, there were clear themes around solidarity and support, but also a recognition that talking about race can be divisive and uncomfortable for a host of complex reasons as well. And as I know everyone on this call here, allyship is one way to address that, as it provides a vehicle for learning, creating that unity and building those trusting relationships. So following on from that, we launched our first Race Allyship programme, and we now have about 50 race allies in the business. And whilst ranging from junior members of staff, this goes all the way up to our executive board, and they actually mainly comprise of our senior leaders, such as heads of and directors. Everyone completed comprehensive training so they can support all staff with matters related to race. And this is alongside actively challenging barriers to progression for ethnically diverse staff and facilitating those thought-provoking conversations on a regular basis, not just during awareness weeks or months like this.
Brilliant. And because I heard like Mental Health First Aid England allies for mental health in the past. So how are people aware of Race Allies? How can they find them?
So all of our race allies, they've signed up to our race allyship pledge, which is shared and is visible to the whole business via our intranet. And it basically includes various tasks under 3 themes. And these are: I'm here to act, I'm here to listen, and I'm part of the change. And it's really important to share those responsibilities online, so that everyone is aware of them. But myself, as well as a race ally, we can also be held accountable by colleagues too. They've been in place since about 2 years, and alongside some successful mentorships, which has led to promotions, which I'm very happy about. Most recently, we've been going through a restructure in our operations department, and the Race Allies have actually been delivering recruitment ready workshops. And that's basically to help remove barriers across all tiers so that we can tap into the many sort of talent pools across the business. Something which is really positive for me as well. We meet on a bi-monthly basis and also have an active team channel to share ideas, learning, and support one another as well. And our director of recruitment is also a race ally, and he's also the sponsor of Culture Energy, our ethnically diverse network, which Jerome is chair of. And whilst our staff network chairs and executive board sponsors meet every 6 weeks, by having this connection, it means there's a continued conversations between the staff network, the race allyship group, and senior leadership, making sure that that conversation never stops and that real change happens as well.
Brilliant, fantastic. Sounds like it run like a business, which is brilliant. And I heard the Listen Act change in there, which is double brilliant. So thank you. The theme for Race Quality Week. So Jerome, I think we're all focused about impact. So what active allies can do to make an impact that makes a difference?
So I always get asked, I get asked this question quite a lot about active allies and what is the difference. And to me, an active ally is not just somebody that's going to join the meetings and get involved in group discussions, but a real active ally. And what is as seen as being successful for us is that ally who speaks in a room that you're not in. So at the moment, what we have is that in most scenarios, from say a heads of level and above, the ethnically diverse colleagues start to fizzle out. And trying to get into those spaces, there's going to be lots of meetings in those spaces. And I think that the active allies are the ones that continue those conversations behind closed doors. So when you get into that meeting and there's no ethnically diverse colleagues in that meeting, the conversations still continue. And I think that is one of the main successes for our own active allies. So our active allies are the ones that hear our concerns and then help us to get the data, put it into writing, and present it back to the organisation. And to me, I feel that is one of the biggest kind of roles an active ally can do.
I think that's great, especially in where in certain organisations, departments, or levels, there's less representation. So actually, to guarantee the voice being in that room, I think that's huge. So thank you for sharing that, Jerome. Thank you.
No
and Natalie, a quick summary about how you think the 5-day challenge can help organisations.
Yeah, I know that there are lots of race allies here on the call, and it can be hard knowing where to start sometimes. But we found the 5-day challenge a really powerful tool. So we've done this over the last 2 years, and we found it's really helped us sort of foster those real conversations between colleagues. But most importantly, for an ally, it allows you to take a step back and reflect on your own behaviours. And it's also, I know that we've only got a very short time, but it's really simple, it's bite-sized, and it's a really highly effective tool for making that conversation continue, because that's what we're really trying to drive at Notting Hill Genesis. Is it's not just during Awareness Week, it's an everyday conversation. So use the 5-day challenge to be that catalyst for ongoing change.
And we'll provide links to that later. So thank you both. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Natalie. Really appreciate that. So now it's back to you all for the second group. And this is, what do you see the difference between allies and active allies? So what do active allies do? We'll allow, I'm controlling the time badly, so we'll allow 13 minutes for this one. There is a link in the chat to enable captions. And as last time, don't go introducing yourself. Someone manage the time in there, give everyone a chance. 13 minutes, and we'll give you the 1 minute warning towards the end. See you on the other side. Thank you. If as many people can join the breakouts as possible, even if it's just to listen, that'll be great. Because this one's all about the big collaboration. So thank you all. You don't have to have your cameras on, should I say? I had a lovely group, absolutely fantastic group, really inspiring, lovely people, really lots to learn, which is fantastic, and everyone sort of building on each other's ideas and thoughts. So again, if we could just throw into the chats, what do active allies do, or what do allies need to do to become active allies? If we could throw it in the chat again, we will collate it. We will anonymize it and then send it to you all in a few days. Please don't worry about typos and things like that. It's absolutely fine. We will correct it if need be. Recognize and call out white fragility. Interesting. We had a debate about white fragility today. To talk about and not talk about. Really interesting. Speak up when everyone else is silent. Somebody wanting to call things out in the room. Create an environment for active allyship. Yeah, I think that creating the environment and it being safe is really important. Support and not always lead. Ask for recommendations from current allies. Standing up and doing things. So there's a lot of standing up, which is really important. White fragility came up again. Be honest, bold, and have confidence. So I'm going to give you another 20 seconds and shut up. I know some people can't type when I talk. Okay, great. So there's so many people here today. What we'd love to do is take some group photos. So keep typing. So if you can let the team take some group photos. If you don't want to be on camera, please hide your camera or go to your black screen or whatever you do. But otherwise, please feel free to do that. Now it's your choice whether you're eating your pot noodle and you want that on film, etc. I've noticed some of you have been to the hairdressers the night before, knowing this was going to happen. So well done, you lot. So the team are going to just take a few photos. So many of you here, so we're going to try and capture as much as we can, and then can obviously amplify this event on that. Whilst we're doing that, before we move to the final theme, no need for the slide at the moment, Sam. We just want to let you know, if you wanted to reach a more diverse pool of talents, you can take advantage of our Race Equality Week jobs board discount. So we've got a jobs board, and for this week only, I think it'll finish on Sunday, there's a 40% discount if you take up the offer. There'll be a link in the chat and we will send it in an email tomorrow following this event. So that's a Race Equality Matters job board to get to a more diverse talent group. Are we okay, Anna?
Yeah, images collected.
Yeah, all done? Good, thank you very much. Right, so okay, so on to our third and final theme. So back up with the slides, Sam. So we're going to hear from Michael Burgess from Amy, one of Race Equality Matters partners, who is currently on holiday. I tried to get him to talk from his beach, but he won't. But he's kindly taken time to record a session for us. Amy are a leading provider of full life cycling engineering, operations and decarbonisation solutions for transport infrastructure and complex facilities. Michael is Amy's Chief People Officer. He has responsibility for ensuring people policies and practices align to Amy's purpose, priorities and values, to bring out the best in his people and to look after each other. Under his leadership, Amy has been recognised for its progressive people policies, such as an HR Excellence Award for the EDI and inclusion strategy. Amy also a Race Equality Matters Bronze Trailblazer and a Safe Space Plus Trailblazer. So it's great to hear from them. So Michael's going to talk upon how Amy has driven organisation change from the top. If we can have the video, thank you.
Michael, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, need to, thank you. My name's Michael Burgess and I'm the Chief People Officer of a large and progressive organisation called Amy. It's a company that I'm extremely proud of.
Why is Race Equality Week important to you?
Well, because of my experience. It isn't just my work experience that creates the person I am. It's my social background, it's my educational background and my economic background. All those things give me experience, and that experience tells me that diversity is crucial to having a successful organisation. To get a good organisation, a successful organisation, you have to have representation, a fairness of representation and fairness of opportunity. And that's what an organisation can provide to employees. And then the employees, through their ambition, their hard work and their talent, will thrive. And if they thrive, the organisation thrives.
What advice would you give to other organisations?
My advice to other organisations would be for the leaders to create and ensure that they have a culture where representation and opportunity is fair and it becomes part of their business as usual DNA.
And how should leaders put that into practice?
Well, the important thing that all leaders should do is they should encourage and inspire their staff. They should be sponsors, but also they should always do the right thing. They should be seen to do the right thing, and they must add value along the way in everything they do, always moving forward, because their staff will hold them to account and to the principles that they say. And through that sponsorship, they should do that through encouragement rather than criticism. When leaders criticise staff, their brain reacts in a defensive way, where it could be a fight or flight or inertia syndrome, or they might get aggressive or be in denial, but they close down and it's not moving things forward. If they encourage all the time, they'll have a sense of engagement, and when they have that engagement, they'll move things along and add value themselves, and that's where you get incremental change, which is what we're looking for.
And what about the tools to put that into practice?
Well, there's lots of tools to use. We shouldn't be worried about using the tools. There's ethnicity percentages, ethnicity pay gaps. They should be across the board to publish those. But there's also things like multicultural leadership programs. We have one of those. We're very proud of that. And that moves the dial on opportunity.
Thank you, and thank you, Neetu, for taking the time out to interview Michael. So what's great to hear about is business as usual, part of DNA. It's just not a pop-up once or twice a year where they focus on it. So now on to our final breakout for you all. We're going to allow 12 minutes for this one. As again, there's the link in the chat to enable captions if you need it. We'll give you 1 minute warning. The topic is, how do leaders and managers drive organizational change in this space? How do leaders and managers drive organization change? So we'll let you go into your groups. And then after this will be, I'm going to use the word launching-ish, our new solution, It's Not Micro. Thank you. Brilliant. Another great group. Last point that was made in our one, which is great, was all about recognition. Seeing leaders sort of acknowledging and recognizing what their colleagues have done and calling them out, shouting out in a positive sense. And if you look at our 5-day challenge, we've got to focus on praise and the power and impact of it. So if we can give it about 30 seconds, if you can go in the chat. I know some of you did it already. If we can go in the chat and put in your observation, the thoughts or experiences of how leaders and managers drive organization change. Redistributing power. Thank you, Chanel. Is it Selena? Be present and do as you say. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of in our group about taking the lead. Whilst you do that, if we could have the next slide, please, Sam. So what's coming up the rest of the week? So on Thursday is our event Lead the Change, which is centered around leaders. And it's leaders collaborating with change makers, many of you in the room today. It's first of its kind, where we're hoping for over 500 plus organizations to be involved. We believe it will be the largest virtual mass race reciprocal mentoring event ever. There you are. This will be done through 3 key virtual interactive collaboration discussions. Sign up now. There'll be a link in the chat for more information. Next slide. Here are some of the organizations involved. And this is I call it bring along a leader. So bring along a leader to this event, those that are really curious and wanting to learn about it, and show if there's one thing they can do in Race Equality Week is come here and learn from change makers, but also give back to change makers by sharing guidance and advice that many of us may not have experienced from our communities and backgrounds. Okay, so next slide. We have some exciting news. The launch, and I'm going to launch-ish, of our newest solution to tackle racial microaggressions is called It's Not Micro. If you hear it, don't ignore it. It's a solution built in collaboration with Race Equality Matters community to help organizations tackle racial microaggressions. And it's a particular focus on allies becoming active and stepping up when they see or hear microaggressions, not just leaving down to the few of those that are experiencing it. It's taken 8 hard months, but we believe it'll be a game changer for you. We still need sponsorship for all the elements of it to be live, but we'll be able to provide one element of it after today's event. We think it's going to be a game changer. Next slide. The solution focuses on 3 key simple steps. So it's listen, act, and then create and be the change. Next slide. We need to understand what microaggressions are. So listen and look out for them. And the guide provides what microaggressions are and the impact they have on people. Next slide. So if we hear or see something that could be a microaggression and it feels safe, and organizations need to make it feel safe for their staff to speak up and encourage it, have the culture, we do provide guidance on how to do this. We need the allies to call it out and step up by asking a question to query what has been said and in a non-confrontational way. So if you hear say something, you speak so well, or you can't wear that, simply and calmly inquire, may I ask, why did you say that? So can we just say, we're not taking away the power and the voice of ethnically diverse colleagues that are experiencing it, so that still speak up if you feel comfortable. We know quite often they're the only person in the room and cannot speak up. So the allies need to step up. So it's a non-confrontational way of helping people reflect. Next slide, please. So if what we've said has been questions, we need to pause, reflect, and listen before acting. So don't get angry, irritated, frustrated. We're not being attacked. We're just being made aware of the behavior we might be having on other people, or our words are having on other people. So take a pause and don't attack back or get overly defensive. Thank you. Next slide, please. Then finally, by the ally becoming active and raising the query, we give the person that said the microaggression the opportunity to reflect, share, or correct what they said. Sometimes we use clumsy language, and we use phraseology that actually things are changed. Like, I know the word BAME is not so appropriate anymore. Next slide. So to support you, this brilliant sketch note sums it all up, and this will be shared with you after. So it tells you about the impact it has on people, certain words and languages, but how we need to call it out or question or query the person. And I said, remember, it's non-confrontational, yeah. And organizations have to have a workplace to encourage all their people to speak up against microaggressions. So to support you, next slide, please. You have access to 4 support resources to implement it. The first is a free introduction and context guide. And just to say, it's a big document, but it's got all the information that the community says needs to be in there. It has microaggressions and their impact. So what's wrong with saying, can I touch your hair or whatever? It explains the impact it has. Why they tend not to be called out. So why are these phrases and things happening and not being called out? Information about instant micro, how it will work, why your organization should get involved and who should be involved, and why and how you get involved. You could run Instant Micro from this information provided in this guide, and it'll be free to the whole community. And that'll be available hopefully next day or so, and we will let you know. There's a poll at the end, so if you're interested in it, let us know. Next slide. The second resource is, if you need more support, is a 9-step-by-step implementation, how to do it right guide for the project lead or the project team. So it's for the person who will lead and run the initiative. There are 9 suggested steps, including top tips, explainers, and how to get this right. And it's been built by the community, HR, D&I leads, a whole source of people. Remember, this has been built with and created by the community, and you can adapt it to suit your organization. Many have said it will build on the anti-racist training or even microaggression training they've done on that side. Next slide, please. The third key resource is what we call a game-changing, ready-to-go presentation workshop for you to use to help engage and provide your colleagues with the tools and know-how to be able to call out microaggression in the future. The workshop, it's all slides and it's got all the content you need. You can just run it yourself now. It takes up to an hour, but it includes videos, eye-openers, explainer slides, key discussion points, and practical role play. So you can play the scenarios out so your people get used to it. So, so it becomes a natural thing how to question people. Everything you need to get people on side to feel engaged, skilled up, and confident to become an active ally. So here's just a sample of some of the contents. You can see some videos there. Next slide, please. We've got some examples there of bring it to life. So when gentleman says, you're so articulate, the thinking is he thinks people who look like me are not intelligent. That is what happens. Next slide, please. The interactive discussion topics. So have you ever justified using special language because all your ethnically diverse friends find it funny and are happy with it? So that there's these little eye openers for you to think about, or that food is very smelly, or can I touch your hair, or I can't pronounce your name, can I call you X? Next slide, please. So we provide you with the tips of how to make people comfortable to call it out. So if someone says you're pretty for a black girl, which we get a lot of people, so an ally will step and say, may I just check what you meant by that? Or if someone says you're well spoken to a colleague, say, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you meant. Can you please clarify why you're saying that? And as I said, maybe people are clumsy with the language, but it gives us a chance all to learn and reflect. Okay, next slide, please. So 73% saying Instant Micro will help tackle racial inequality. So we hope your organization will join the others and be part of the change. Next slide. To help raise funds for Race Equality Matters, because we are a not-for-profit, and some of these resources will require some payment. So the microaggression context, and it says about 40 pages, beautifully pulled together, and tested by the community hundreds of times, is for free. Next slide, please. The 9-step implementation guide, how to do it right, is for £399. If you're a member of Race Equality Matters, you get it for free. Next slide, please. The workshop guide, which is ready to go, slide deck, is £299, again, free for members. Also, we'll be doing a recording of the workshop so you can play it for people if you wanted to do that. Next slide, please. And as a please note, all corporate members will get all this for free. So if we could do a final poll, that'd be fantastic. And it gives you a chance to let us know what support and resources you're looking for down the line. Fantastic, great. Thank you all for completing the final poll. So would you recommend today's event to others? So 87% saying yes, 3% saying no, and 10% not sure. We'd love to hear from you to see how we can get you into the yes bracket. We appreciate it's a bit of a different event to our others, and yeah, it can be challenging, but if we're doing something that's not working, please do let us know. Question 2. Was it helpful to hear from our speakers? So a fantastic 93% said yes. So big thank you to our speakers for making an impact on the audience. Question 3, did you hear or learn anything new today? And again, it's 86% saying yes. So, nearly 9 in 10 of you are saying you heard or learned something new today. And really importantly, did you hear or learn anything you will use? And again, it's 82%. So you're all leaving here where it's something you heard from the speakers, maybe from Race Equality Matters, or most probably from your breakout sessions. It's something you've learned that you're going to now use in your organization. So we're all about making an impact and change. Question 5, in comparison to other diversity and inclusion events, how valuable would you rate today's event? So as you can see, 52% saying significantly more and more valuable, or the same. If you combine it, it's 92%. So 92% said it's just as good as, or more, or significantly more valuable than other diversity and inclusion events. Question 6, did you think the length of the breakout sessions, how did you find them? So only 5% too long, 14% too short, 61% saying just about right, and then obviously 90% saying mix. So overall, sort of like nearly 2/3 of you think it was just about right. So thank you for letting us know that. Question 7, during Race Equality Week, is your organisation taking part in which activities? So 59% saying the 5-day challenge, and we'll be showing a video and more information on that soon. So hopefully that will increase that figure. 12% the big promise, and 20% coming to Race Equality Matters events. It looks like a good 70% are going to do a Race Equality Matters solution of some sort or the other. And then 1 in 3, so 27% or 27% of you are going to do your own events. Question 8. Are you interested in the new solution? Hashtag it's not micro. So 73% saying yes to free resources, and 17% free and paid resources. 4% saying no, and 6% not sure. So it'll be interesting to hear from those as to why. And question 9, would your organization like to join the Race Equality Matters membership? So 16% saying yes, 5% say no, and 79% say not sure. So we'll send more information so you can make a decision whether it is or isn't for you. Question 10, please indicate which may be of interest. So 8% sponsoring Race Equality Matter event or solution. So we'd love to hear from you. 37% the new Race Equality Matters inclusion and belonging survey tool. Again, we'll send some information in a follow-up email. 27% finding out about the jobs board. And it's great to see 4% here today are funding partners. So, and a further 5% want to find out more about being the funding partner, and then can get their logo behind us and be proud to be a funding partner of Race Equality Matters. And the final question, which of the following would your organization typically be willing to invest in? So it's great to see 61% insights and ideas to tackle key race themes. So we're collating the insights and ideas for today, and you'll all get them for free because you participated, but the rest will be available in our membership hub. Many videos of expert speakers, so 40% of you, and 29%, so 1 in 3, exclusive thought leadership events, 35% how to implement a Race Equality Matters solution guide, and 38% how to implement a Race Equality Matters solution workshop. So again, a lot of this will be included in the membership hub, or you can purchase them on the outside. And 13% Race Equality Matters Consultancy Light. So yeah, we're looking to see if we can help support you more. All right, thank you all for that. Much appreciated. And as I said, we'll share these results with you all later. Next slide, please, Sam. So I said one of the solutions which you talked about was the 5-day challenge. So if we can play the video, thank you.
The 5-day challenge. 5 challenges, 5 minutes, 5 days to change the world. Daily challenges including eye-openers and more. Over 1,000 organisations have downloaded the 5-day challenge, reaching over 1 million employees.
Rethink Mental Illness are doing the 5-day challenge because it's a really easy way for everyone to be involved and take action in raising awareness for race inequality and changing our culture to be even more inclusive.
Hi, I'm doing the 5-day challenge.
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 We're doing the 5-day challenge.
REW challenge.
I'm doing the 5-day 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 challenge.
The Race Colleague Network Group at Transport for London, and we're doing the 5-day challenge.
I'm doing the 5-day challenge.
I'm doing the 5-day challenge.
Hi, I'm doing the 5-day challenge.
We're delighted to be doing the 5-day challenge this year.
Most grateful to the 5-day challenge.
Hi everybody, I'm Lisa with Black Fox Philanthropy. Black Fox is doing the 5-day challenge because we believe in equity, equality, and the future of work.
Race Equality Week 2024. I'm doing the 5-day challenge. Peace.
5-day challenge. I'm taking the challenge. Are you? 5 challenges, 5 minutes, 5 days to change the world. Hashtag listen, act, change. Join us and take the challenge now. Here are just some of the organisations taking the 5-day challenge. And more.
Okay, thank you. Next slide. So I said that's available on the website. It's a daily PDFs and a how to do it guide if you need it. So 5 challenges that take 5 minutes over 5 days. It's got videos and it's got explainers and the eye openers for each one. They're all bite-sized and built by the community. That's what they look like. Next slide, please. And on Friday, we have the closing event. So if you want to get together with other people like yourselves and find out what did they do for Race Equality Week, share what you did, learn from each other, that's there. And don't forget on Thursday is Lead the Change event. So I'll hand you back to Raj just to wrap up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all so much for today. You know, Amy, Anna, Donna, and Javed on the Race Equality team. Just fantastic how you put these things together with so little money and so little time. You know, you have my absolute thanks. And a thank you very much to our key partners as well. Also, these other fantastic companies and minority-owned businesses that have helped us on the journey. Thank you to our wonderful speakers, Chelsea and Jeffrey from Beasley, Natalie and Jerome from Notting Hill Genesis Housing, and Michael and Nitu from Amy. Remember, it doesn't end with Race Equality Week. It's just a start and a place for pause and reflection. So do check out our free solutions if you haven't done so already. If your organisation would like to donate or sponsor future events or become a partner or just help us amplify what we're doing, please do get in touch. Don't forget the membership offer for this week. This is trying to help us to keep doing what we're doing. I know some of you have already kindly donated. Thank you. And finally, remember, we can't change the past, but united, we can change and shape the future. We can make it everyone's business to listen, act, and change. Have a positive remainder of Race Equality Week. Thank you for being generous with your time and your support. And let's move from action to from words to action. Thank you.